If your pink blushes keep turning orange, but purple feels too strong, you might need something right in between, and that's Mauve. It just gives you a vibrant pink blush with a hint of lavender that doesn't turn orange. Today I'm reviewing 33 Mauve blushes. Just like my neutral pink blush video, this one is very color focused, so you can find the perfect Mauve blush for your skin. We'll be analyzing each shade by 3 categories. First, undertone, whether it leans warm or cool. Second, olive friendliness, from not olive friendly to very olive friendly. And the skin tone range from fair to deep. Moving on to the product, I'd like to define what actually Mauve is. Mauve makeup is very versatile. It is a muted shade that mixes pink, purple, and gray tones. But there are so many shades labeled Mauve across both Western and Asian brands, but they all look different. So I decided to categorize them into 4 groups. First, pale mauve. This is a very light mauve that creates a soft lavender-like blush. It creates a cool tone pink look. Next, dusty mauve, a muted grayish mauve. These are often found in Asian brands. They look more desaturated, more like a gray tone that's really hard to find in Western brand. Then we have mauve pink. The most common type you will see from US brand labeled as mauve is more like a pinkish red with a hint of mauve. Lastly, berry mauve. A deeper take on mauve is great for tan to deep skin tone. It gives more like a berry flush with more red than purple. We have a lot of products to talk about, so let's just right into the first one. First, we are starting off the most common category, which is mauve pink. First one is this Rhode Pocket Blush in Sleepy Girl. This was one of my most used blushes last year because of the perfect mix of pink and mauve, but it's definitely more on the pink side, so I decided to categorize this as a mauve pink. And the brand describes this shade as a soft mauve. I would say it is more like a muted, warm pink mauve. And if I compare this shade with other Rhode shades that's very similar, it is pretty similar to the shade Tan Line, but Tan Line is warmer and Sleepy Girl is cooler, slightly more mauvey. After one swipe, it looks like a dusty rose pink, and after blending, it turns into a natural reddish pink blush on my cheeks. After 2 layers, the red blush becomes stronger, so you mostly see a red tone on my cheeks. So the color looks more red on my cheeks than it does in the packaging. Overall, I feel like this is a perfect shade if you have neutral and warm undertones. For olive, unless you have cool olive skin, I feel like it will great on olive skin as well. So I think this is like a middle olive friendly shade. And for skin tone, it is perfect for medium tan. Next one is this Hauslabs Glassy Blush Balm in Glassy Hibiscus. This was another one of my most used blushes last year, and I still reach for it sometimes. I use this shade whenever I wanted that neutral pink blush for just perfect for everyday makeup look. It goes with pretty much any look, so honestly, if I don't know what to wear for my blush, this is the one I will just reach out. And the brand described this shade as a deep mauve. I would say this is more like a mid-tone pink mauve shade, leaning more like a neutral cool side, and it's not that muted color. It has more like a little bit of vibrancy, so it still gives color to your cheek. Compared to the brand similar shade, Glassy Ginger, it is more like a neutral muted pink, whereas Glassy Hibiscus is definitely more mauve, saturated, and a little bit more cool tone. With one layer, you can see more of a purple mauve shade on my cheeks. After blending, it turns into a sheer, flowy, reddish pink blush. After 2 layers, I mostly see a stronger red flush rather than just pink. Overall, if you have neutral or cool undertones, you find that this blush is perfect for your skin. And for olive skin, this shade will be perfect, so I would say moderate olive. For skin tone, if you have light to medium or medium skin, you will find this shade is perfect for your skin. Next one, we have more like a matte version. This is Makeup Forever Artist Color Crayon in Swanky Mauve. This is my favorite matte cream stick formula. It's super straightforward, easy to use, and blends really effortlessly. And the brand describes this as a deep mauve, and I think that's the perfect description. I would say it's more like a muted, dusty rose with a hint of coolness. And if I compare it with more like a similar color from other brands, I think this Sleepy Girl from Rhode is very similar, but the Makeup Forever one is slightly more saturated, cool tone, and a little bit deeper. And so this is better for more like a cool tone girlies. After one swipe, the color looks like a muted mauve with a bit more saturation. Once blended, it turns into a natural red flush on my cheeks. After 2 layers, the color looks slightly stronger, but since the pigment is still quite sheer, it leaves a more of a soft berry flush on my cheeks. Overall, if you're looking for a matte type of blush with a mauve color, this will be perfect. And if you have neutral or cool undertones, you will find this shade like perfect for your skin. And for olive skin, you would love this shade. So I would say very olive, and for skin tone, medium tan. And the next one is this ILIA's multi-stick in Atlas. So this is a multi-use stick, so you can use this for your lips and cheeks. It's super lightweight, a little bit hydrating, but not too hydrating or not too creamy. It's just pretty solid, and it has a natural coverage, so it gives you more like a natural looking blush look. And the brand described this as a mauve rose. I would say this is more like a light to medium tone pink with a hint of mauve color, and plus it has a very subtle shimmer, like a golden shimmer in it, so it gives you more like a glowy look. I would say it is more like a pink than mauve overall. If I compare with the other brands similar shade, I would say this Hauslabs Glassy Hibiscus is pretty similar, and I would say the ILIA shade is more like a lighter version of this Glassy Hibiscus. So if you find this shade is a little bit too dark for your skin, you can find this ILIA blush is perfect for your skin, but the ILIA one is lighter obviously and a little bit warmer than Hauslabs Glassy Hibiscus, but once you blend out, it leaves pretty similar sheer color left on the skin. Once I swatch it, it looks like a cool pink shade, and after blending, since it has very sheer color payoff, it turns into a soft sheer cool pink blush. After 2 layers, the color show up more strongly, turning into a noticeable red blush. Overall, I feel like this is more like a cool tone pink blush more than a mauve blush, so if you're looking for a blush that doesn't turn orange and doesn't too mauvey or too purple, you will find this shade is perfect pink blush for your skin. Also, I would say this is more like a cool / neutral color, and this is perfect for olive skin, so moderate olive. For skin tone, if you have light to medium skin, you will find this shade perfect for your skin. Next, we have Creme and Powder Blush Duo. This is Peripera Double Take Creme and Powder Blush, and I chose the shade She Goes to the Gym. This product is inspired by Peripera's blush techniques that you put the cream first on your cheeks, and then to make it last longer and to keep that color strong, you will put this powder on top of the cream product. Then you will get the very beautiful long-lasting blush look. And they describe these shades as a cool mauve rose. I think that's like a very accurate description for the color. It's cool mauve rose color. The cream one is definitely cool mauve pink color, and the powder is more like a warmer, a little bit more muted than the cream one. To compare with the other brand similar shades, I would say for the cream part, this Morphe Huephoric blush Intoxicated is very similar. So if you want like a dupe version of this color, this one can be more like a foldable version, but I would say Morphe one is cooler and more pink tone. First, I apply a cream blush, and it shows up more as a red blush rather than mauve or pink. Then I layer a powder on top, and the red blush became stronger. So overall, it reads as a more intense red blush. So overall, I feel like this is a perfect blush cream and powder duo if you have cool and olive skin. So if you have cool undertones, you will find this shade is a perfect shade for your skin. And for olive skin, I would say it's just perfect for olive, so I would say just very olive. And for skin tone, medium tan. Next, we have very luxury cream blush. This is Western Atelier Lip and Cheek Blush, and I have 2 shades. This is a brand that's co-founded by Gucci Westman. She's a professional makeup artist, and I love this brand because of the unique packaging and also unique color. And what I love about makeup artist-led brand is that they know the color, so they don't create the color just because it's popular. They don't copy and paste the colors from other brands, but they create their own color range that's more unique and that are not boring, I would say. So that's what I have there, 2 blush shades, and the first one I want to talk about is this Dodo color. They describe this shade as a warm rose color, but I wouldn't say this is a warm rose color because it definitely looks very cool, slightly mauvey color even. And even when I compare to other cool tone blushes, it definitely leans on the cooler side. I couldn't find any like similar shades from other brands. This is pretty like unique color. With one swipe, you can see a mid-tone cool pink, and after blending, it turns into a soft cool pink blush on my cheeks. After another layer, it turns into a stronger pink hue on my cheeks. So overall, I feel like this is a very cool tone pink blush with a hint of mauve color. So if you have cool undertones, you will love this shade. But for olive skin, unless you have very cool olive, I feel like this one might look too cool for your skin. So this will be more like a little olive friendly color. So this color is for more like a light medium and medium skin. Another shade from Westman Atelier is this Garonne. This was like one of the most unique shades I ever tried from Western brands. It's definitely not something you see very often. It's very muted, mauvey, that's not too warm and not even too cool. And they describe this shade as a Just Pinch Mauve. I would say it is more like a muted mauve shade with a neutral undertones. It has a slight hint of warmth, but overall it leans more like a neutral undertones. It might look intimidating at first since it appears very dark, but once you blend it out, it softens into a more neutral pink color. I don't think I can find any similar shade with this Garonne shade, but if I compare with the Dodo color, you will see how it's muted and more like neutral color blush, so it's very unique color. After one swipe, you can see a dusty muted mauve shade on my cheeks, and after blending, it turns into a natural reddish pink blush. After 2 layers, it turns into more of a red blush on my cheeks. Overall, I feel like this blush is perfect for neutral and olive. If you're looking for like a mauve blush that's not too pink, not too purple, and not too light, I feel like this shade will be perfect for your skin. So undertone neutral for olive, very olive, for skin tone medium and tan. Next we have another blush from Makeup by Mario. This is a Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush Stick in the shade Dusty Rose. Out of all the shades from this brand, I feel like this is the most muted shade I ever found. I love this blush stick especially because it has a very sheer coverage, so it's just perfect for everyday makeup look. And if you're a beginner in makeup, you might need this like amount of sheer coverage so that you can like build up more coverage, not looking too patchy or not putting too much at once. And the brand described this shade as a neutral rosy mauve color. I would say this is more like a muted rosy mauve color with neutral to cool undertones. It's slightly more saturated, so it has more red in the color. It helps to brighten the complexion while giving the natural flush look. And this shade looks a little bit similar to this Westman Atelier in Garonne, but the Makeup by Mario is cooler and more saturated, so it's better if you're going for a brighter, more flush look. After one swipe, the color looks like a cool dusty rose, but the pigmentation is very sheer, so it leaves just a slight red flush on my cheeks. After 2 layers, the color looks a bit stronger, but still mainly reads as a red flush on my cheeks. So it looks more red on my skin than it appears in the packaging. So overall, I feel like this is just perfect for cool, bright, pink blush look. Perfect for neutral and cool undertones. I would say this is like a modern, olive-friendly color. And for skin tone, medium and tan. Next, we have more like a natural looking blush. This is Married Blush Balm in Archival. If you love no makeup look or very sheer looking type of blush, you will love this blush. And the brand said this is a cool mauve shade, and the color looks very muted on its own when I see the packaging. But once you swatch it, it turns into more like a cool berry blush. And it's very similar formula with this Rom&nd, the Korean brand Juicy Roll Cheek in Bear Grape. Both are very sheer, natural looking blushes, but the Rom&nd one leans more berry with the purple base and a cooler tone overall. It looks more like a berry tone cool pink at first, but the pigmentation is very sheer, so once blended out, most of the color disappears. After 2 layers, the color finally becomes more noticeable and shows up as a soft cool pink blush on my cheek. I feel like this is a cool tone blush, perfect for cool undertones, and if you have olive skin, it's also great for olive, so I would say just middle olive, and the shade is perfect for light and light medium skin. Next, we have more affordable option. It's one of the very few drugstore brands, which is this Morphe Huephoric blush in the shade Intoxicated. This is actually one I reviewed when I went through all the drugstore blushes like 1 or 2 years ago. It's actually one of my favorite drugstore blushes. It has a very creamy texture and it has like a hydrating / primer swirl in the product, so you can feel that creaminess and richness once you blend it with your fingers. And the brand is called this as a rose mauve color. I would say this is like cool mauve shade with a slight berry undertones. It's very highly pigmented, but once you blend it out, it softens into a cool tone pink blush. As I said earlier, this is very similar shade to the Peripera cream blush in She Goes to the Gym, especially this cream formula, but the Morphe one is a little bit more cooler and more pink tone, I would say. Once I applied it, I could see a cool tone pink on my skin. After blending, it gives a soft, cool berry flush. The pink tone became more noticeable. The color looks brighter on the skin than it does in the pan. Overall, I feel like this is a perfect drugstore option if you are looking for a mauve blush shade, especially if you have cool undertones, you will love this shade. For olive skin, I would say just like middle olive friendly color, perfect for medium and tan skin. We have another more affordable option. This is e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush in Suave Mauve. So the reason why I don't have many drugstore options is it is so rare to find this type of mauve shades from drugstore brands. They have either too pink, like too warm pink, or too purple. So there's not that many options right in between that pink and purple. But this one is the most affordable one that I could find from drugstore brand. And the brand call it just just a mauve shade. I would say this is like a rosy mauve color with cool undertones, and once you blend it out, it turns into a cool mauve blush shade. I would say this is very similar to the Rhode Pocket Blush in Sleepy Girl. If you've been wanting to try this shade, this can be a great dupe, but the Rhode one is slightly warmer and a little bit more muted. And overall, if you're looking for cool undertones, affordable drugstore mauve blush, I would say this is just perfect. And if you're just looking for this dupe for Rhode Sleepy Girl, this can be affordable version. With one swipe, it looks like a muted reddish purple with a strong red undertone. Once blended, it gives more of a natural red flush than a pink one. The red tone becomes even stronger, but the color payoff isn't very even. It starts to look a little bit patchy after blending. Overall, for undertones, neutral and cool friendly, and for olive, very olive. And this is perfect for olive, very olive, and for skin tone, medium and tan. Finally, we have two powder type blush for mauve pink color, and the first one is this Kosas Fake Dimensional Brightening Blush in Euphoria. This is a baked blush, which means that it baked the powder, so it gives a very sheer natural coverage, and you can control the amount of product you use more than the just average powder blush out there. And this shade is typically really hard to find from powder formula because most of like powder blushes are all like bright, not that muted enough. I would say this is one of very perfect mauve blushes in powder formula I've ever found. So there's a swirl like in different tones, so it gives that more like dimensional, more like watercolor like blush for your skin. And the brand described this shade as a cool pinky mauve color, and it is more like a neutral pink once you blend it out, even though it can look warmer in the pan when swatched. So it settles into more like a neutral pink color with a hint of coolness. But if I compare another powder blush, this is Make Beauty Microsuede blush in Misty Mauve. The Kosas one looks warmer. First, it leaves a very sheer pink tint, and after blending, it gives a soft mauve pink blush with a subtle shimmer glow. After 2 layers, the color still stays in the mauve range, maybe slightly more red, while still leaving that shimmery glow on the skin. Overall, this is a perfect shade for neutral undertones, and for olive, it's very olive. I love this shade, and if you have light or light medium skin, you will love this color. We have last powder blush. This is Make Beauty Skin Mimic Microsuede blush in Misty Mauve. The shade itself looks so beautiful on the pan, and I feel like I never found this type of like shade from powder formula. And the brand described this shade as a mauve, just mauve, and I would say it is a muted pink shade with a hint of mauve in the pan, but once you blend it out, it becomes the perfect pink blush, not too orange and not too cool. If I just focus on the color, I would say this shade is a little bit similar with this ILIA blush in At Last, but the ILIA one is more saturated and cooler tone. With one layer, the color looks very sheer and natural, giving a soft muted pink flush once blended. After 2 layers, the pink hue becomes stronger, but it still reads as a mauve pink on my skin. So overall, this is a perfect powder blush, like mauve pink powder blush for neutral and cool undertones, and this is very olive color, so perfect for olive, and if you have light or light medium skin, you will love this shade. Next, we are moving on to Dusty Mauve category. First Dusty Mauve shade I want to talk about is from Rare Beauty. Actually, these 2 shades from Rare Beauty are the only Dusty Mauve shades I could find from Western brands. These shades like this are so rare to find from Western brands. First shade, this is a Rare Beauty liquid blush, and I chose the shade Encourage, and they describe this shade as a soft neutral pink. And I feel like when I see the color at first, it definitely looks more like a muted mauve color more than neutral pink. And the swatches online doesn't feel like it looks like the color in real life, so the swatches online looks also very different, so I feel like I would just call it as a dusty mauve shade. If I compare with another unique mauve shade from Western Atelier, Garonne, the Rare Beauty one reads more mauvey, less saturated, and closer to a true mauve, while the Westman Atelier shade is more pink based. After one swipe, you can see a muted mauve shade that leans more purple. Once blended, it turns into a reddish pink flush on my cheeks. After 2 layers and blending, the red hue becomes stronger with just a hint of purple. Overall, I feel like this is a perfect true mauve shade you could ever find from Sephora, and this is a perfect neutral color, so it has neutral undertones and perfect for olive, very olive, and since it has a pretty highly pigmented color, it's good for medium and tan skin. This is a shade Believe. Compared to the shade Encourage, I would say this shade is more saturated and a little bit deeper version of the same tone. And the brand say this is a true mauve shade, but again, the swatches online doesn't match with the color in real life. In photos, it comes across more like a pink color, but in person, it's definitely more like a deeper mauve shade. So I would say it is slightly saturated, deep mauve color, while still gives you that flush, vibrant cheek once applied. And if I compare these two Rare Beauty shades, the shade Encourage looks more vibrant, saturated, and deeper, while Believe comes off more muted. After one swatch, you can see a mauve shade, but it leans more red base and it's more saturated than the shade in the packaging. Once blended, it leaves a more red tone flush on my cheeks. After 2 layers, it leaves a more vibrant red flush on my cheeks. Overall, I feel like this is so unique, so rare to find neutral mauve blush, so this is perfect for neutral undertones. For olive, it's very olive, perfect for olive skin, and since it has really deep color payoff and deep color, it's perfect for tan and deep skin tones. Next, we have very indie brand from Canada. This is Phytosurgence Cream Blush in Condensate. I saw this brand's post on Instagram. The shade looks very muted, perfect for olive skin, and they make very unique shade that you could ever find from Sephora brands. A lot of you guys recommend this brand's blushes on my Instagram and TikTok posts, so I have to try it. And the brand described this shade as a muted pink color, but I would say this is more like a muted mauve shades because I see more like a purple more than pink. They describe this shade as perfect shade for olive skin, so it doesn't lean too warm or cool. Once you blend it out, it turns into this soft muted mauve flush. And compared to the shade Rare Beauty Encourage, the Phytosurgence one looks more muted, less saturated, so it's just gray mauve type of blush. After swatching it, you can see a dusty mauve shade with no warmth. Once blended, the color payoff is very sheer, leaving just a subtle pink tint on the skin. To see the color more clearly, I apply a heavier second layer. It builds up to a muted pink blush while still looking soft and natural. The color looks lighter on my skin than it does in the pad. And it's not too warm, not too cold, so it's perfect for neutral undertones. And unless it has very saturated olive skin, this is perfect for desaturated olive skin. So I would say it's just perfect for olive. So it's very olive. Since it has really deep color, mid-tone color, I would say this is perfect for medium, tan, or a little bit deeper skin. Next, we have Korean brand's product. This is Nuse Mousse Care Cheek Candy in the shade Dim Dum. I feel like this is a true light mauve shade I've ever found from all over the world, and this shade is just perfect for olive skin. And I would say this is a lighter version of this Phytosurgence blush. So if you have lighter skin and if you find that this shade looks too dark for your skin, you might want to try this color. And the brand described this shade as a soft mauve shade, and I think this is just perfect definition. So I would say this is just true soft mauve color. When compared to the Phytosurgence blush in Condensate, you see if I mix a bit of white to this Phytosurgence blush, it will come out like this Dim Dum shade. So it's just lighter version of, they only have different brightness but the same undertones. So overall, I feel like this is just perfect for neutral and cool undertones, and just perfect for olive, very olive. And since it has a pretty light color and light pigment, this is great for more light or light medium skin. Next, we have very interesting packaging blush. This is Jeongsaenmul Artist Cushion Blush in the shade Oud Mauve. You may seen or heard of cushion foundation, but you might never seen this type of cushion blush. So the liquid product soak in the cushion, so you use this type of puff to press the mesh, and then you have a product in the puff, and then you kind of blend it all over. This creates a more like a natural finish, very sheer type of coverage look, but still like even coverage. I feel like this is a very beginner friendly packaging. And the brand described this shade as a calm yet mysterious muted mauve. And most of like Korean brands have this color chart, like different undertones color charts, and so that like customer can find the perfect shade for their skin. And on their chart, you can see it's in between neutral and cool, but definitely more on the neutral side. I would say this is a very pale mauve. It's very bright color. I feel like this is like the lightest mauve shade I ever seen from like Korean brands. Even on my hands, like it looks almost invisible. You can barely see the color. So I don't think there's anything that's pretty similar with this color. So it's very unique and very pale color, I would say. When I applied one layer, the color was barely noticeable because the shade itself is very light and the pigmentation is quite sheer. I could only see a slight purple pink tint on my cheeks. After 2 layers, the color became a little more noticeable, but it was still very subtle and hard to see clearly on my skin. Overall, if you have cool or neutral undertones, you will love these shades, and it's perfect for olive, so very olive. And since this one has very pale color, so it's perfect for more fair or light skin. Next, we have another Korean brand's product, and this is a powder blush. This is Laka Love Silk Blush in the shade Poem. This is like most grayish color I ever seen. It's not even like mauve on the side, it's more like a gray side type of blush, and it doesn't have any saturation, any red color. So I don't know how it's gonna work on other skin tone. I feel like this is just a color that will work for like fair or light skin. There's no like description on this color, but I feel like this is like light gray mauve blush. Even on the back of my hands, it even shows up almost like a highlighter. It's definitely made for very fair or light skin tones. Even if I compare with this 정샘물 blush in Oud Mauve, the Laka one just looks like brightening powder shade rather than true blush on me. When I first applied it, I couldn't really see any color, so I kept building it up, but it just ended up looking more like a gray ashy powder on my skin. After a second layer, it still looked more like a highlighter type powder. Overall, I think this is very unique color, like very grayish color, so it will great for neutral and cool undertones. And if you have very desaturated olive skin and fairer skin, I think you will like this color. So I would say this is just a moderate olive color that's perfect for fair skin tone. Next category I want to talk about is pale mauve shade. You can find these shades mostly from Korean brands. And first one is very interesting, unique packaging. This is Entropy Tok Tok Cheek in Plum Message. This is like an old iPad case. You kind of like slide it up, and then the blush comes out, and then you can just put it back like this. And very cool, unique packaging. And the blush is like a dough, like a very cushiony, like a jelly-like texture. It comes out really like blurry and kind of matte color. There's some like description about this color, but if I swatch it on the back of my hands, this is like a lavender-like blush that leans more purple. So it definitely comes out as a cool tone purple shade. I haven't found anything similar shade like this, but if I compare with the more like a dusty mauve color, like this Nuse Dim Dum, you can really see the difference. The Entropy one looks more vibrant, lighter, and leans more purple, while the Nuse one looks like a dusty color. When I swatch it on my cheeks, it looks like a soft lavender shade. After blending, it turned into a natural lavender pink blush. After 2 layers, the color stayed true to the original shade, a soft, light lavender, and brighten up my overall complexion. Overall, I feel like this is cool tone, lavender-like type of blush, so it's perfect for cool undertones. It might look too cool for some type of olive skin, so I would say this is like a little olive friendly color. Since it has very light color, it's perfect for fair and light skin. Next, we have very interesting packaging product. This is BBIA Charltteok Blush in the shade Moru Charltteok. This blush formula is the same as Entropy one. It's like dough jelly-like formula. Charltteok means sticky rice cake in Korean, so it's very cushiony, very mochi-like type of texture. And the unique thing about this product is not about the texture, it's more about the applicator. It has a very cushiony, mochi-like silicone puff inside, so you kind of take the puff and then you kind of push the product to take the product out, and then you kind of apply all over your cheeks. And this is the one I'm wearing right now. It gives you that very blurry, very fresh lavender color type of blush look. Like other all Korean brands, there's a blush color chart you can find, whether it's a cool tone, warm tones, or for light or deep skin. And this shade is on the very cool tone side, so definitely cool tone type of color. And the brand call it as a calmly ribbon wild grape purple shade. I would say it's just light lavender with neutral undertones, and definitely leans more like a purple than mauve shade. And if I compare with the Entropy blush, the BBIA one looks more neutral, while Entropy one looks a little bit cooler. I use a silicone cushion puff to apply it, and the color looked very sheer, so I kept building it up. It gives a very subtle bright lavender flush on my cheeks. After another layer, it looks more like a purple brightening effect, almost like a powder highlight, which brightens up my whole cheek area. Overall, I feel like this is perfect for cool undertones, but still a little bit on the neutral side, so cool, neutral. And I think this is perfect for olive skin, but not too olive color. So I would just say moderate olive. And if you have fair or light skin, you will love this shade. Next, we have liquid blush from Korean brand. This is Peripera Syrupy Tok Cheek, and I chose the color in Milky Lavender. It's a liquid blush. You kind of shake it before using, and then you press the bottom to dispense the amount of the product like this. From there, you can apply with your fingers or lavender blush to get a very dewy and glowy type of blush look. And they also have this color chart, and when I look at the color chart, it's in between neutral and cool and more on the neutral side. Actually, there's no brand description about this color, but I think this is a light cool mauve pink color that turns into like light cool pink blush. And then if I compare with the BBIA blush, that could be very similar. The Peripera one definitely has more pink and it looks more saturated. Since it's a liquid blush, I use a brush to get a more even color payoff. As I blend it out, it creates a soft lavender flush with a healthy glow that make my complexion more youthful. After 2 layers, the pigmentation became quite strong, so I could clearly see that cool lavender pink color on my cheeks. It creates a dough-like blush that really brightens the complexion. But overall, I feel like this is a cool neutral type of color that's great for olive skin, but in the middle side. And it's great for fair, light, and a little bit more light medium skin. Next, we have the one I actually got in Korea last year when I traveled to Korea in last November. And this is Intoxicated Balm in the shade Memorable. This packaging reminds me of the Rare Beauty blush packaging. And when I look at the color chart, it leans definitely more on the cool side, so I guess that this is perfect for cool tone skin. And then brand described this as a light cool lavender shade, and the brand description is very accurate. It's very cool tone lavender blush. Even after blending, it's very cool tone color. And if I compare with the BBIA and Entropy one, I feel like the set Took one has more cool tone in it, so this is very cool tone type of color. It looks like a light lavender shade when I first swatched it, but because the pigmentation is very sheer, the color becomes barely noticeable once blended out. It leaves behind just a soft lavender flush. After 2 layers, I can see the color much more clearly. It almost acts like a purple tone highlighter on my cheeks, instantly brightening up my complexion. Overall, if you have cool undertones, you will love this shade, so perfect for cool undertones. For olive, I feel like this can be too cool, so I would say this is just little olive color. And since it has a very sheer light color, it's perfect for fair and light skin. Next, we have cream blush from Korean brand. This is Lily by Red Love Beam Cheek Balm. I saw a lot of posts on Instagram about this product, so I was so excited to try this. And the color looks so beautiful on its own. And I chose a color in 10. And obviously, Korean brands has color chart, and they have it. And on the color chart, it's on the color side, so it's in between cool and neutral. I could see this color is in between cool and neutral. And the thing about this product is it has a really sheer coverage, so if you love just very natural looking sheer type of look, you will love this type of formula. The brand described this shade as a mauve beige color. I feel like this is just a light lavender blush, not too lavender, not too pink, just perfect light mauve blush. And if I compare with this BBIA Charltteok Blush, Lily by Red one has a bit more red in it and it's less purple leaning type of color. When I applied one layer, it looked like a baby cool pink on my cheeks. After blending, it turned into a soft, useful pink blush. After 2 layers, the color became more noticeable and took a brighter lavender tone flush. So this is not too cool, like more neutral cool tone type of color. So it's perfect for neutral and cool undertones. Since this is not too cool color, it's perfect for olive, so berry olive, and it has very sheer coverage with light color, so it's great for fair and light skin. Next, we have the only Western brands I will put in this pale mauve category. This is Rom&nd Beauty Luminous Silk Cheek Tint in the shade 62. The reason I put this in this pale mauve category is because it looks much lighter than other like mauve color from Western brands. It's not as light as like other Korean brands products, but still looks pretty light compared to other Western brands. And the brand described this shade as a dusty mauve color. And I think this is like a mid-tone cool mauve. And once you blend it out, it turns into a more like a cool pink flush with a hint of mauve color. And if I have to pick the pretty similar color, I would say just Hauslabs Blush Balm in Glassy Hibiscus. But I would say the Armani one looks much cooler. I don't think there's anything like similar color I could find from other Western brands. If I just pick the color that looks pretty opposite, it would be Hauslabs Glassy Hibiscus, and you can see Rom&nd Beauty one looks way cooler. Once blended, it turns into a cool pink flush with slightly more of a red tone. After one more layer, the red flush becomes a bit stronger, but it still reads as a pink tone flush overall. Overall, if you still want that matte, very high coverage, Western mauve type of blush, you will love this product. And the undertone is for cool and neutral and perfect for olive, very olive, and the shade is great for medium and a little bit more on the tan skin side. Next we have another blush from Peripera, the Korean brand. I actually got this one in Korea last year when I traveled there. It was really hyped, this blush, and this type of color was really hyped back then in Korea because how like muted and this like dusty look. And this is Peripera Pure Blush Sunshine Cheek in Dusty Mauve. There's no description about this color, but I would say it is a light mauve shade. True mauve shade that's not too warm, not too cool, just perfect neutral mauve shade. And if I compare with the Lily by Red cheek balm, almost looking pretty the same. Maybe Lily by Red one looks a little bit more pink, cooler and vibrant, but they're very identical. When I first swatched it, it looked like a light purple shade with almost no pink or saturation. After blending, it turns into a soft pale lavender tint. After 2 layers, the color becomes more noticeable and show up as a light purple shade on my cheeks. Overall, I feel like this is perfect for neutral undertones because it's not too cool, not too warm, and it's just perfect for olive, berry olive, and since it has pretty light and very sheer color, it's great for fair and light skin. Next, we have my most favorite cream blush from Korean brand. This is Russian Egg Light Cream Blush in the shade Cheeky. Another hype blush in Korea, and this blush went really viral because K-pop idol said that she loved this blush, and this brand made such a really nice muted color. As soon as I touched the product, it smells so creamy. Like I never used this type of very creamy type of blush. It still has a pretty nice decent amount of color payoff, but it turns into a very sheer type of blush look. And obviously this brand also has that color chart, and when I look at the color chart, the shade leans definitely very on the warm side, and the brand even described this shade as a mauve beige with warm tones. And I think the description is pretty accurate. It's a warm mauve pink color. Actually, it's very unique because most of mauve shades are more on the cool side, and if you're looking for like warm mauve color, this is the one you want to try. On the packaging, it looks pretty like muted, like beige type of color, but once you blend it out, it turns into a softer, warm pink shade. Nothing is pretty similar to this color, but if I compare it to more like a cool tone blush from Lily by Red, you can see how the fresh young shade looks noticeably warmer. With one swipe, I can see a muted light cool pink shade. Once blended, it gives more of a subtle reddish flush than a true pink, and the color payoff looks very natural. The reddish pink tone becomes more noticeable, but the pigment still looks very natural. The color also appears more saturated on the skin than it does in the pan. Overall, I feel like this is perfect for warm, slightly neutral undertones type of skin. Even though this is still warm tone color, it's still muted, and if you have warm only skin, you will love this color. So I would say this is just a little olive color, and it's perfect for light and light medium skin. Next, we are moving on to berry mauve shades. These colors are way deeper than the colors I talk about, and it's more like a berry inspired color, so it has more red and more like a purple type of color. First I want to talk about is this Rom&nd Juicy Roll Cheek in the shade Bear Gray. The packaging is very unique. It's like a very cute roll type of shape, and it gives us such a nice sheer like glowy type of blush, so it looks very natural. And the brand described this shade as a muted pink beige like gray blush just underneath the pale skin. So I would say it's just sheer cool mauve blush with a glowy finish. So once you blend it out, it leaves a soft, subtle berry tone glow on the skin. There aren't like any exact dupes or anything similar with this color, but if I compare with the Western shades like this Makeup by Mario Jelly Jar Lip and Cheek Balm in Mauve Latte, the Rom&nd one is closer to a true mauve. It's more muted, less saturated, and leans cooler overall. Overall, I feel like this shade is perfect for cool undertone skin since it has very cool tone, berry type of color. And also, I think this shade will be great for olive skin, so I just put it in the middle olive category. And if you have light or light medium skin, you will love this shade. Next, we have more dewy, creamy type of blush from Summer Fridays. This is Summer Fridays Blush Butter Balm in the shade Dusty Rose. It's very glowy cream type of blush that has very sheer coverage, and it's very natural sheer type of blush that's perfect for everyday makeup look. And I chose this shade Dusty Rose, and the brand described this shade as a cool dusty rose. And I feel like this is more like a warm pink berry shade. It leans more like a pink with a hint of red and has a pretty high saturation. Even once I blend it out, it softens into a natural red flush on the skin. I feel like this Summer Fridays blush is pretty similar with this Makeup by Mario blush in Dusty Rose, but this Makeup by Mario one is deeper and has more like a cooler undertones, while Summer Friday one looks warmer. After one swipe, the color looks like a red pink shade with a cool undertone, and after blending, it leaves more of a red flush on my cheeks. After 2 layers, the red flush becomes stronger, so it no longer reads as pink, just red flush on the cheeks. Overall, I feel like this is like a warm pink rose with a hint of mauve color, so it's perfect for warm or neutral undertones. And since it has a warm undertone in it, I feel like this is just a little olive friendly shade. And if you have light medium or medium skin, you will love this color. Next, we have more like a unique texture type of blush. This is Makeup by Mario Jelly Gel Lip and Cheek Balm in the shade Mauve Latte. This is a Korean inspired type of blush because first, it's made in Korea, and second, there are a lot of similar blush from Korean brands, especially this V Jelly Pot. And when I test these both together, they feel exactly the same. So I don't think there's much development from this OG formula to create this product. And for shades, I chose Mauve Latte, and the brand described these shades as a rosy mauve. I would say this is more like a berry mauve color because on the packaging, it looks more like a muted pink type of color, but once I swatch it on the back of my hands, it turns into more like a berry mauve shade. It gives a soft, cool purple tone blush on the skin. And I found that it looks pretty similar with this Rom&nd Juicy Cheek Blush, but the Makeup by Mario's looks more saturated, brighter, and leans more like a berry overall. Although this is a jelly-like formula, the pigment looks quite intense at first, but once blended out, it turns into a natural mauve blush that stays pink on my skin. After 2 layers, the color becomes more saturated and red base, giving more of a very flush look. Undertone is perfect for cool and neutral, so they will look perfect for olive skin, so moderate olive. I would say this shade is great for light medium and medium. Next, we have liquid blush from Korea. This is House of Her Moist Ampoule Blusher in Berry Purple. They sent me all the shades like 1 or 2 years ago, and I got to try the blush, and I found that it's very sheer. It leaves like a watercolor blush on your skin, and it's very natural looking. And the brand described this as a like ampoule formula, so it's more like a skincare type of consistency. When I look at their color chart, they're right in between neutral and cool, but more on the neutral side. There's no description about this color from brand side, but I would say this is like cool, neutral, deep berry shade. It has a really sheer color payoff, so it only leaves a very subtle berry color. There is no actually similar color to this blush, but if I compare with this Makeup by Mario Jelly Blush, the House of Her one looks more red base with a more purple undertone. It has a very liquidy texture, so I had to use my fingers to apply it. When I first swatched it, it looked like a sheer purple, but once blended, it turns into a more very red flush that still looks very natural. After 2 layers, the pigment became a bit stronger, but it was still quite hard to get an even application, so I can look slightly patchy in some areas. Overall, I feel like this is very unique red base type of purple colors, and it's perfect for cool and neutral undertones. Since it has cool neutral undertones, I would say this is like moderate olive friendly color. I don't know how this color will look on deeper skin, but the shade itself will look good on tan and deep skin. Another skincare inspired liquid blush from Western brand. This is Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewy Blush, and I chose the shade Berry Flush. And as the product name said, it's like a lot of skincare inspired type of product. And the brand Glow Recipe is more like a Korean inspired skincare brand you can find from Sephora, and they launched this blush like a few years ago, I guess. And since it's a skincare inspired blush, it gives a very sheer dewy type of blush look, and it feels very hydrating. And the brand describes this shade as a sheer warm berry plum, but I would say this is more like a cool tone deep berry shade because once blended, it turns into more like a berry / purple blush. And if I compare with this House of Her berry blush with this Glow Recipe, the Glow Recipe one looks cooler and more purple, while the House of Her one looks like a red purple base. When I swatch it, it looks like a berry shade, but after blending, it leans more red on the skin rather than mauve or purple. Ampoule, so it shows more red undertones. After 2 layers, the red flush becomes stronger, turning into more of a red tone flush with just a hint of purple. Overall, I feel like this is a true cool tone, very liquid blush, so it's perfect for cool undertones. So I would say this is just average olive friendly type of color, so middle olive. And since it has a very deep berry shades, it's perfect for tan and deep skin tone. Next we have another Asian inspired blush from Western brand. This is Fenty Beauty Shake'N Play Buildable Liquid Blush in Wild Berry Whip. You might have seen that viral liquid blush, you swipe the color on the eye areas and then the dark circle completely disappeared. And this is the same packaging. You kind of shake the product and then you twist the cap and then you have this cushiony applicator. Just dot the blush like this and then blend all together. It has a pretty sheer watercolor look. It has a satin matte finish. And then brand described this shade as a rose mauve. And I feel like this is more like a deep berry mauve shade because it has a very strong purple hue and very cool tone. And if I compare with pretty similar shade from Glow Recipe, it looks pretty similar, but the Fenty one looks more like a purple base and more saturated. After swatching, it looks like a deep berry shade, and after blending, it leaves a vibrant red flush with a hint of purple. After 2 layers, it looks very similar, but the red hue becomes slightly stronger. Overall, still it's not too cool undertone. It's more like a cool neutral shade, so I feel like this is perfect for a cool neutral undertone skin. And since it's a cool neutral shade, it's perfect for olive, so moderate olive friendly color. Since it has deep color, it's perfect for tan and deep skin. So these are all my reviews on 33 different mauve blushes. I hope you guys find it helpful. To sum up all these reviews, if you have warm undertones, you will love this shade. If you're a cool tone, these are perfect. If you're a neutral tone girly, you will love this shade. And if you have olive tones, these are perfect. This was one of the most requested video you guys asked me to create after creating that neutral pink blush video, and hope you guys find the perfect mauve blush shade for your skin. To create this video, I got to try so many blushes, mauve blushes from Western brand, Korean brands. I would say most of shade look great, look better than just true neutral pink blushes on my neutral olive skin. So if you have olive skin, you will love most of these shades. Please let me know which color I should focus for blush recommendation video in the comment down below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!